Howdy, folks. Fallout New Vegas is set in a nuclear wasteland, so it is absolutely no surprise that there are some places that send chills down your spine. This video covers two types of horrifying locations, the ones that are your traditional horror with extremely sad stories and suffocating atmosphere. And then the other locations are horrifying because they are too difficult. There will be some personal bias for these ones. Vault 22 is terrifying because it feels like a living nightmare. It's overrun with plants, but not in a peaceful nature has taken over way. It's suffocating and eerie. The place is dead silent except for the sounds of your own footsteps, the rustling of vines, and the occasional growl of something lurking nearby. The spore carriers are absolutely horrifying the first time you encounter them. You read these logs about how it was supposed to be a heaven, a place to grow food for the settlers of the vault, and then everything went to hell. The vault also feels very different, almost has a mystical vibe to it, especially with the UV lights here and there. This is easily one of the most unique vaults in Fallout and definitely one of the most terrifying. Next is Black Mountain. This is one of those that are horrific the first time, especially if you are low level. If it sounds too specific, that's because it is. My first time playing, I was completely terrified of this place, mostly because of the Nightkins. Back then, I didn't know what a Nightkin is, so I was trying to find some alternate route to reach the top without alerting the super mutants, and suddenly a Nightkin jumped me. Then there is the other Nightkin with the missile launcher. The place also has a bleak color tone, which adds to the horror. To be honest, the main antagonist of this place, Tabitha, is a goofy super mutant, but this place is especially terrifying because of the Nightkin. Camp Searchlight is Fallout New Vegas' version of a dead town. This place used to be a small community with civilians and some NCR troopers protecting them. But then the Legion infiltrated, and instead of killing everyone, they dumped radioactive waste around the town. This led to the death of most civilians there, and a lot of troopers turned into feral ghouls. Some ghouls can still be seen wearing trooper uniforms. The town is eerie with thick radioactive fog. The remaining interiors are filled with scum.
Who the fuck are you? Name's Logan. What the hell do you want?
The remaining soldiers are still trying to fix the town, but even they know that NCR has sent them on a death mission. Vault 11 is just straight up depressing. Even from the outside, this place looks absolutely terrifying, but the inside of this vault is just on another level. Entering the vault for the first time, you encounter these skeletons along with a voice recording. The vault's residents were told that they had to sacrifice one person each year to a machine called the Overseer, or the entire vault population would be killed. This twisted setup pushed the inhabitants into a state of paranoia and manipulation, with politics and betrayal becoming the norm. Over time, this led to extreme moral degradation as people voted others to die, often for petty and selfish reasons. Families turned on each other and friendships were destroyed. Finally, when only 5 people were remaining, they decided not to sacrifice anyone and discovered that this was actually the solution all along.
Congratulations, citizens of Vault 11. You have made the decision not to sacrifice one of your own. You can walk with your head held high, knowing that your commitment to human life is a shining example to us all. And to make that feeling of pride even sweeter, I have some exciting news. Despite what you were led to believe, the population of Vault 11 is not going to be exterminated for its disobedience. Instead, the mechanism to open the main vault door has now been enabled, and you can come and go at your leisure.
The 5 people who died in front of the vault were the last survivors of its population. After deciding to stop the sacrifices and realizing the truth behind the experiments, they were consumed by guilt and despair and took their lives as punishment. This vault story is truly heartbreaking, and this vault deserves to be on this list. The next one is another biased one. The Thorn isn't really a horrifying place depending upon what type of person you are. A lot of games have these type of death arenas, and the Thorn is no different. However, this underground look kind of has a hellish feel. I can't really explain it, but it just feels like that to me. Nipton doesn't need any introduction. It is one of the most iconic places in Fallout New Vegas. Of course, most people's first encounter is with this dumbass, but other than that, this town is really tragic. There are dead bodies everywhere, human heads impaled, and people crucified alive. Nipton fell because of its greed. The town's mayor, a corrupt opportunist, sold out his place to the Legion in exchange for caps. He thought he'd come out ahead, but the Kaiser's Legion doesn't work that way. When the Legion rolled into town, they turned Nipton into an example. They rounded up the townsfolk and subjected them to a twisted lottery. Winners got a swift death, while losers were crucified, burned alive, and left to rot. This place just shows how brutal and terrifying the Legion is. This next one is not a particular location, but any place where Cazador spawned. This includes Cazador Nest, Tribal Village, and other few locations. I think the most difficult of them all is South Nevada Wind Farm because there is a lot of stuff in your view and Cazadors can sneak in behind you very easily. Anyway, you might call it cheating because I included multiple locations, but it doesn't matter as all of them are equally terrifying. Next is the one and the only Lucky 38, specifically the casino floor. The floor is eerie and lonely to say the least. There are suitcases lying around on the floor, clutter everywhere, and the music. Oh, the music is absolutely terrifying. I know people don't think this as a horrifying place because they go to Mr. House straight away and very few people actually explore this floor. There's also another terrifying part in the building, and that's the chamber where we first witnessed the Secretor Mark II. The first time I witnessed that, I was genuinely terrified. However, that is more because of the scene rather than the location itself. Repcon test site might have one of the most goofiest quests in all of New Vegas, but the location itself is pretty terrifying. Repcon's experiments with rockets and radioactive materials led to countless accidents, leaks, and worker deaths. This dark past is evident in scattered remains, logs, and terminal entries you find. Just like the Lucky 38, the background noises are terrifying, with growls of ghouls and other unsettling noises. But the basement is even more terrifying. The Nightkins ambush you out of nowhere, and even if you detect them, most low level players will have a hard time fighting them. This place is like a combination of both types of horror on this list. It is both terrifying because of its past and also because of difficult enemies. And lastly, we have Quarry Junction. Most new players try to take a shortcut to the strip, get mauled by deathclaws, and it scars their minds for the rest of their lives. And God forbid if some brave soul tries to venture inside the Quarry Junction itself. Now, experienced players might know that one anti-material rifle is enough for these fools, but that's not really the point of this video. All of these places are horrifying for the first time you visit them. Maybe Vault 11 is horrifying always, but other than that, all of these become normal once you played the game enough. So yeah, Quarry Junction is pretty terrifying because the most dangerous deathclaws in the whole game live there. And that's about it. I did leave quite a lot of areas out you might be expecting. For example, Vault 19 has a horrifying backstory, but the actual vault in the game doesn't look like much. Let me know what places you think are the most horrifying in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.